and good evening, and welcome to Monday Night Paranormal Live with myself, Paul and Jenny for Hosts of Ghosts, Angela from South Coast Ghosts, Julia from Paranation Ghost Hunt Events, Luke, one of our lead investigators down there, and our very, very special guest star tonight is Tommy Cullum from Let's Get Freaky podcast. So welcome to you all for Monday night. Welcome, Kat. Welcome, Tommy. So tonight we'll be chatting to Tommy about his podcast and all things high alienate. Andy, good to see you, man. We'll be talking to Tom. Oh my God, Tommy!
You can call me anything.
It's been a long day, hasn't it?
I think I might call you about 3 or 4 different names by the end of the night.
It's been a long day.
Been a long day. So welcome, Tommy, tonight. Simon Riley, hi Tommy. Evening all. Hi, good evening, Simon. Welcome to Monday Night Paranormal Live. So we'll quickly shoot over to Tommy in a minute. Nickname, hi all. Hi, nickname. Hi, Andy and Si. So that's got to be Andy and Si. That might be Essex Ghost Hunters, I think. That might be them, I'm not sure. Anyway, welcome, Tommy, to... Why do I keep calling you Callum? Welcome, right, Tommy, to the Monday Night Paranormal Live.
I've done a whole interview once where someone was calling me Callum. And it was like right at the start where I first started doing Let's Get Freaky, and I didn't have the heart to tell him. And we got like halfway through, and I was Callum the whole time. So it's fine. Call me anything, man.
Probably reminds you of your son.
Yeah, probably my youngest one. Yeah. Hi, Sindel. Welcome. So, welcome, Tommy, to Monday Night Paranormal Live. We first met at the Cryptid Conference with Andy and a few others. So it was really great to make contact with you there. So, tell us a bit about how did you get going in your podcast then? What sort of made you start your podcast?
Well, I've always been fascinated with the paranormal, with all high strangeness, ghosts, cryptids, UFOs. I've always had an interest. I've always been very scared as well. At the same time, very scared of it, but very interested in all the topics of high strangeness. And I grew up in a haunted house, so I've sort of it's always been there in my life. I've experienced quite a lot myself. And I think I just wanted to, I love talking to people like you guys and hearing other people's experiences, because I think that's how we kind of learn. And I'm just fascinated, but I still don't know what's going on. I've been doing the podcast for 3 years, which I know is not that long, but it feels like quite long. And I still don't know. As my opinion changes every day on what the paranormal is, what's going on. But I love it, man. I find it so fascinating.
So the more people you meet, does that more it changes your view to the paranormal or stroke supernatural, the more people you're meeting?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll talk to someone and they'll be telling me their opinions and stuff, and I'll be like, yeah, that's a good point, you know. And then the next day I'll talk to someone else who's got completely different opinions and experiences, and I don't know. I'm very open to it all. But it changes every day. My opinion changes every day.
I think every day's a school day for all of us, really, as we do the different investigations, because nothing's ever the same.
Mm-hmm.
And, we could go back to a location 2 or 3 times and it's always different. So how did you sort of start to get into it? Was it from a young age? Did you have a paranormal experience yourself from a young age?
I was one of those weird, I still am, to be honest, one of those weird people that are really scared of the dark. Like I'm still very scared of the dark, but as a kid, I was terrible. Like as soon as I woke up during the night, I know a lot of kids feel like this, but you feel like something's in your room watching you and stuff. And I'd be straight in bed with my mum and dad, and this was a problem like every night. And I think we grew up in what I would say was a haunted house. There was a lot of weird activity. Things used to go missing. You would hear someone walking around when there was no one up. It was very that kind of thing. And one night I woke up, and I was about 10 years old when this happened. So I wasn't super young, but I was, old enough to kind of realize what was going on. And me and my brother shared a room, and we was in bunk beds, and I was on the top bunk. And I woke up during the night. It was pitch black. Well, I could see the room. Oh, what was that? I could see, it wasn't pitch. I could see like light coming in from the outside, but it was dark. All the lights were off in the house. So straight away, anyway, I panic at that anyway. But I kind of looked down at my desk in the corner of my room, and there was a man sitting there at the desk, like and I wasn't thinking ghost at the time. I was just thinking there's a man in my room, and I just remember like screaming, obviously, and calling my mum and dad. And this guy was like, he looked like William Shakespeare. I'm not saying he was William Shakespeare, but that was kind of his look. He had like long brown hair, like a brown suit on, big brown boots, and I could see him like solid, like I'm seeing you guys right now. It wasn't see through, you know. He was kind of like, I won't say lit up, but I could see like color. So I could see like he had a brown suit on, you know, but he wasn't like glowing, but it was very strange. But I could see like he had a beard and stuff, and I could really see him clearly. And my mum's come running in, and I'm just pointing to the corner of the room. There's a man in my room. There's a man in my room. And my mum can't see him. And she's kind of trying to make me calm down. And she went over to the corner of the room. I didn't see if she went through this man or anything like that, but she came back and she was like, "There's no one there. Like, calm down." And I'm like, "Mum, I've got to come into your room." And she got a little bit angry. And to this day, like, she'll probably watch this and she'll apologize again because she does it every time I speak to this. But she's like, "No, you're staying in your room. There's no one there. Go back to bed, sleep." And I just remember going under my covers and just sweating, just being like terrified. My mum's left the room, and I just kept looking down at this man, and he was just there all night, and I just kept going under the covers. I was sweating, and then every now and again I'd look, and this guy was there, and he was there for like all night, as far as I'm aware. And somehow I fell asleep that night, woke up in the morning, and never saw that man again. But that night was like, okay, this is 100% real. That for me, that was like, there's so much more to this world. And that's my first kind of big experience. I had other little things happen when I was a kid, but that was like the first, real confirmation to me that there's more.
And did your brother have anything like that happen to him, or was it just you that experienced this?
My brother's a lot more skeptical than me. So to this day, he's very much, I jumped to the paranormal straight away. I'm very, I love it. So I'm always thinking paranormal, but it's not always paranormal when these things happen, I need to remind myself that sometimes. But my brother is like that. And he says, you could have been dreaming. I don't think I wasn't dreaming that night. I don't think I was dreaming, but my brother did have an experience where he woke up. So he was on the bottom bunk and in the corner of the room as well. So he didn't see the same entity that I saw, but he saw like two red eyes. And he said these two red eyes just started floating towards him and then like gradually disappeared. And that's terrifying. But to this day, he'll say he's not sure whether that was a dream or not. I tend to like come to the paranormal and say, "No, I think you've seen something there, bruv." But he's still very skeptical, even though he's had other weird things happen as well. But the house was like there was a weird vibe in that house. We had some good times in the house, but there was, that just a weird feeling when you go to a haunted place. You can kind of feel that energy. And I remember when we left the house, my dad saying to us all like, "Oh, I'm glad we got out of that house. Something wasn't right." And obviously he didn't say that when we were kids there at the time, but it was, later on talking about it.
So your mum and dad have had the experiences in the house then, do you think?
They never saw anything, but they heard the noises, felt the feelings. There was another time where I saw something in the house. So this was probably a little bit after seeing the man in my room. I was in my mum and dad's bedroom and they had like mirrors in their room, and I was kind of playing in their room, dancing. I can't remember what I was doing, but I was like being silly in their room. And I saw in the mirror and then turned and saw a naked lady walking through my mum and dad's bedroom and into their ensuite that they had. And it was a blonde naked lady. And again, very solid, it wasn't see-through or anything like that. It was a solid, I'll say entity. I don't know what it was, but it was, I just thought it was my mum at the time because it was a blonde naked lady. So I was like, followed her into the ensuite and I've gone, "Mum," started talking to her, walked into the bathroom and I was like, "There's no one here. There's no one." So I just remember running downstairs and my mum was fully clothed in the kitchen. And I was like, "Mum, did you just walk past me in your bedroom?" She's like, "No, obviously not." And I just remember being so confused. And I've never someone said recently, not too long ago, that could have been a doppelganger. Sounds like a doppelganger. And I
Yeah.
was like, it does. I never thought that at the time, or till years later, but it could have been. Yeah, it was very because I thought it was my mum, but it obviously wasn't.
There's a question from who was it, Sindel?
Yeah.
How old were you both?
So when I saw the entity in my room, I was 10, around that kind of age, and my brother's 3 years younger than me, so he'd have been 7. Yeah, so that we was in the house for quite a few years. So I think I was around 6 when we moved in that house, and then we left when I was 12. So we spent quite a big period there,
And did you ever go back to the house, sort of once you'd left and gone? Did you ever go back thinking, I wonder what happened there?
I do. I think that a lot now. I wonder what happened there, but I've never actually been back in. I've been back to the street because I had a friend that lived on the street as well. I'd love to go back in the house and like ask the family that are living there now.
Yeah.
I don't want to scare anyone, but if they
Yeah.
because quite often you hear that, you hear that, and you hear people going back to houses, and the family saying, "No, I don't experience anything." But I'd be interesting to know if they do, because I wonder if these.
Do you think you'd ever do that? Knock on the door and
I would like to, yeah. I think one day, definitely. If I'm ever back, because I live in Dorset now. That was in Essex, in Brentwood, in Essex.
right.
But I've still got a family that live in Essex and London. So if I'm ever close to that house again, I might give them a little knock and see.
It'd be interesting, won't it? See if they've experienced anything.
Absolutely.
Stindell's put not a doppelganger, but what about a skinwalker? Did you ever have 3 knocks on a door that you didn't understand?
I can't remember 3 knocks, but there definitely was knocks and weird noises during the night. Like you would wake up and hear someone walking down like the corridor, thinking like my mum and dad was there, and then there was no one there, and I'd just freak out. That was quite regular stuff like that. Weird noises, weird feelings, things used to go missing. I can't remember 3 knocks, but maybe, at the time, it's not till like later on in life, sort of looking back, that I started putting the pieces together. I just, yes, I don't know. I don't remember 3 knocks.
And going on to the new house, did you have anything happen as you moved on? Did it sort of follow you, or what happened in your next?
We did eventually have some weird things happen in that house. At first, no, because and I'll tell you what, because when we first moved into the new house, as I say, I was 12 years old, and I had my own room at first in this new house. And I remember for the first night, I remember being in my new room, and I had no curtains up because we was new to the house. We didn't have our curtains up or anything, and it was quite light in the room, so it wasn't dark. But I remember laying there in bed and thinking, why am I not scared? And thinking that was quite strange. And I remember that at 12 thinking that. So that's quite weird. But things did eventually start, because I think the paranormal follows certain people. Not even. I think if you're open to the paranormal, chances are you're going to experience stuff. I don't think it's like. So I think everyone's got abilities with the paranormal, but I think once you're open to it, once you know that things can happen, that's when I think you experience stuff. I think a lot of people close themselves off, and that's why they might not experience anything.
I think when you're younger as well, you're more open because you've never experienced anything like that. So I remember when I was little, I used to see a figure going across the landing, and I must have been probably about between like 5 to 7, 8, something like that. And I just think it's, because you're not closed off to anything, your mind's very open, isn't it? Because when you get older, you dismiss it like, oh, it's a plane going overhead, or a bird, or a bit of a shadow.
Yeah, it's like animals as well, like dogs and cats. Dogs and cats see things, and
Yeah.
it's the same with kids.
And have you experienced any pets in the paranormal world? Like what you thought? Oh, it sounds like
actually saying that when I first moved to this house now, which weird stuff does happen here every now and again. It goes through like fits and spurts of weirdness happening in this house that I'm in now. But when I first moved in, and before I started doing the podcast, we were sitting downstairs, and it's before I had a dog as well. I've got a dog now, but we didn't have a dog at this time. And we was eating in the kitchen, and I saw a black cat run past me. I jumped out my skin, and my missus was like, "What's the matter?" I was like, "A black cat's in the house," and I'm like, I was looking all through the house to try and find, because I was convinced there was a black cat in the house. Like, I saw it, and when all the windows were shut, there was no doors open, so I have no idea what that was. Yeah, so possibly I saw a ghost black cat. I don't know.
You've had quite a few experiences then.
Yeah, I have. But I think it's what because I think when you're open, as I said, when you're open to it, you are going to experience stuff. And since doing the podcast as well, I don't know if it's like, because I'm talking about this stuff all the time, I feel like when you look into the paranormal, it looks back. I really do, and I think more stuff has happened, that I noticed that I might not have noticed before since doing the podcast as well. Yeah, I've had quite a few experiences.
I think it opens your mind to outside the box, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Once you've had that experience, you tend to be looking outside the box and not in it. Alienators, obviously, Andy.
Yes.
Ask Tommy about the Devil Dog Woods.
Yes, yeah. So the Devil Dog Woods, it's where I live now. So behind me, there's a big forest and heathland. And I didn't know about this when I moved. Obviously, I knew there was a forest there when I moved there, but I didn't know about the law. There's a devil dog law there. So it's in books and stuff, and people, claim to see like a dog mankind being. They smell this thing and they see red eyes, that like the classic cryptid dog man stuff, which I didn't know anything about when I first moved here. And I still would have moved here, to be honest, because I'm fascinated by that kind of stuff as well. But I just so when I first moved to this house, I didn't have a job at first. So I moved here, I didn't have a job. My wife was working, but I'd left my job in London to move to Dorset. And then I was thinking about what I was going to do in my life. I knew I wanted to start a podcast, but I was going to have to work as well. And so but at this time I didn't have a job, and I've always been like a night owl. So it was about 2 o'clock in the morning. I'd sit downstairs in my front room. And every now and again, this happened a few times, I would hear like a growling outside my window. Now, I'm not saying this is like a devil dog or a cryptid or anything like that. Yeah. It's just strange. But I would hear like a growling, and I would think, oh, there must be like someone's let their dog out the front. It must be a big dog. And it might be that. I'm not saying it's not. But I would look outside and I would never be able to see like any dogs. I know a gentleman across the road did have a Rottweiler. So at the time I used to think maybe it's his dog, but I used to think it's strange that he's letting his dog out the front when he's got like a backyard. Like, why would you let your dog out at 2 o'clock in the morning? But I just thought, I'm new to the area. Maybe it's just something they do in Dorset. I don't know. I would hear like a growling, and I didn't know what it was. And I didn't actually at the time put it down to anything paranormal. And I still don't know. It just, when I tell you the other stuff and you put it all together, it could be related. Yeah. So I started my job. Which is, I won't say the name of the company, but it's like a food company warehouse kind of job, and it's just 30 seconds from where I live, so it's very close to my house. And I obviously started meeting new people and talking about freaky stuff, and like you do when you're into this kind of stuff, you always talk about the paranormal. And this girl that works there started telling me about the devil dog law. And I was like, "Well, we've got a devil dog in our forest." She'd had experiences, like she had like she used to hear like weird noises in the. I know you do hear weird noises in the forest and stuff, but she kind of puts it down to this devil dog law. And she said it's in a book, and I'll give you the book, and you can learn all about it and stuff. I was like, okay, that's cool. But still, at this time, I'm not putting the growling outside to the devil, and it, as I say, it might not be. And then, so this also happened before I found out about the devil dog law. Me and my 2 daughters used to go for like big hikes in the forest. And one Saturday evening, we're walking through the forest, and it was getting kind of dark, but it wasn't pitch black. It was just starting to set. And we're walking through the forest, and my eldest daughter, Amy, she would have been 10 at the time. She just started freaking out, and I know again kids do freak out in the forest, but she was like, "Daddy, there's a Bigfoot," and I'm like, "Calm down. What are you seeing? Tell me, calm down." Because I was with my youngest daughter as well at the time. I didn't want her to get scared, and I'm trying to calm her down. And she said, "There's a Bigfoot. I just saw a massive Bigfoot with yellow eyes," and this is, and at the time I'm thinking, okay, she's not seen a Bigfoot. She's probably watched one of my documentaries that I watch all the time that she shouldn't have watched, and she's freaking herself out. So I was like, okay, let's go. So that happened, and I heard the growling outside. So that was two weird things. And then I learned about the devil dog law. And then we got a little puppy. We got a Staffordshire Bull Terrier dog, and little Blue, and he's a fearless little dog. He's not scared of anyone or anything. We've got big bulls over in that forest that run free, and he like runs at them. He's not worried about anyone or anything. So we're taking him over the forest. Me, my wife, my kids, going for a little walk through the forest, and we got to this certain point, and my dog Blue, and he was about, I think he was over a year when this happened, so he was like getting bigger, and he just freaked out at seemingly nothing. Like he kind of stopped in his track. He was like scuttling back, and I was like, Blue, what's the matter, mate? That was very out of character. And I'm sort of looking around to see if there's another dog or any other people that he might be scared of. I don't know why, but there was no one there. It was just very strange. I had to pick him up and walk past this area that he was freaking out in. Put him down, and he's fine again, back to his normal self. So I said to the wife, I've got to go back, have a look, see if there's anything there, because I don't know why he's freaked out. I couldn't find anything. I did find a weird scat on the floor that I took a picture of and sent it to some Bigfoot researchers that I know, and they said, Tommy, that's cow poo. And I was like, okay, so that's not Bigfoot then. But that was strange, and he's never done that. He's nearly 3 now, and he's not done that ever. He's only done that twice, where he's freaked out at seemingly nothing in the forest. So that time that I was with him then, and then he done it again with the wife another time, and again she said the same thing. There was nothing there for him to freak out at. It was just like he was seeing something or sensing something. And then another weird thing that happened, I was in the forest again with my 2 daughters, and they were on their bikes. So they got brand new bikes, and they always wanted to go out in the forest and ride them. And there was this little pathway that's like, I would say, a quarter of a mile or something like that, just a little pathway that they can ride down. And I would stand at the edge and watch them. And we're coming up towards this pathway in the forest, and my daughter's like, Daddy, can we go down the path? And I'm like, yeah, go on, go. And they're going down this path, and I'm looking at the edge, and I saw this. At first I thought it was a fox, but I was like, no, that's not a fox. It's quite big, and it was looked like a grey colour, but it was on all 4s. So I'm thinking, it's probably a big dog. But it was at the end of the path, and they're riding towards this thing. I'm like, that's strange. And anyway, my 2 daughters have got halfway down the path, stopped because they've seen this, whatever it is, as well, and freaked out. My eldest has turned round, rode back to me, and Ruby, my youngest daughter, has kind of fallen over. So I've run to her and picked her up, and I said, Ruby, you okay? She went, no, I just saw a wolf. And I was like, so she kind of saw this thing and thought it was, not a dog as well. And I'm not saying this is a devil dog, or it could have just been a big grey dog, but I've kind of looked up, this thing's gone. There was no owner, it was gone. And I was like, that's strange, man. So when I put all this stuff together and I hear that there's a devil dog law there, I'm like, maybe that is the devil. I can't say definitely is, but yeah.
It could have been. Angela, that's all right, yeah? Andy's put, Paul asked Tommy about the cameras in the house when he was on holiday. He knows everything about you, mate. He's been watching you. He's been putting cameras in your house while you've been away. You're watching. You're dodgy, alien, eh? You're dodgy, yeah. Angela, that's all right.
Because I talk to Andy all the time, so when something weird happens, I'll tell him.
Yeah. He's brilliant, and he's funny, Andy. Yeah.
I've actually got his tooth here somewhere.
He's got his tooth.
That's another story.
Did you knock it out? Did he annoy you that much you knocked his tooth out?
But with the camera in the house, so as I said, some weird stuff has happened in this house that, it seems to go through spells, and the thing is, I obviously I'm quite interested in it, but it does still scare me as well when things happen, and I don't like it, and I don't like it when the kids get scared as well. That kind of worries me. on this, so weird stuff was happening on our hallway. You know, my daughters saw possibly something strange. I can get into that in a minute, but so where the weird stuff was happening. So we went away for the weekend, and I left a camera just facing the hallway, just where weird stuff had been taking place. And for the whole weekend, so this camera only goes off if someone walks in front of it, basically.
Right. Yeah.
I guess a fly can set it off, but that doesn't really happen. But so I've got this camera set up, and for the whole weekend, it was beeping saying someone was there. And you know, it'd flash up on your phone, and it was like, you know, 10 minutes every 15 minutes. You know, it just kept happening the whole weekend on the spot. The weird things had been happening. It's very strange. Didn't catch anything. So every time you looked at it, there was nothing there, but it was like telling you that something was there. Very weird.
Strange, isn't it? They're brilliant, these cameras now, aren't they? They're so clever, aren't they? But obviously, you know, what happened here was caught on one of them cameras. I don't know whether you saw that online, but the same sort of thing happened here where we left the camera out for the night and caught that, which is just clever. So what's your, Andrew or Drew, anybody else have any questions for Tommy?
Yeah, have you actively like gone out on an investigation, like an organised one or anything, or just things just happen?
Yeah, no, I haven't done that yet. I'd like to go on an organised one. I think going forward, I'd like to start doing that. But yeah, no, everything I've experienced is kind of happens when I'm not even thinking about it. You know, it's quite strange. I feel like these things happen out of the blue, and they seem to go in like fits and spurts, especially in this house. But no, I've not actually done any actual investigations, which I would like to do. So I think going forward, that is something I'd like to do.
Have you thought about maybe using your mobile phone to like record, just put it on to record and ask questions to see if you get anything back?
No, I haven't. And I've got to be honest, that would scare me so much.
or just like record it and then just send it over to one of us and we can like decipher it for you.
Yeah.
We'll listen to it.
I think you'll be surprised what you catch.
Yeah.
Yes,
no,
yeah. But it's amazing, you know, just with like a normal, I know Paul uses a voice recorder. I've got a voice recorder as well, but just with your mobile phone, and especially if the dog's like sitting there looking at a door or something, or keeps on barking at something. Just like go onto video mode and maybe ask a few questions or just video it and see if you can get anything.
Because I know you guys pick up things while you're recording. We was talking about that before.
Yeah,
I've actually had it a few times where I've been doing an interview. And you can hear. So I was doing an interview with two ladies in the US, and we're talking away, and all of a sudden I could hear like another conversation going on. You couldn't make out what it was saying, but you could hear like voices. And I said, "Sorry, guys." I said, "No problem if it is, but has anyone got a TV on? Because I can hear like another conversation." And both of them said, "No, there's nothing in this room that's going off." And I was like, "That's so strange," because I can hear. And when I actually mentioned it as well, it stopped. And then I went, I can hear another conversation. And then we started talking again. And I think it started happening again. And I was like, there it is again. And one of the other girls could hear it as well. And it did came out. It came out in the recording as well. So we did catch it. But you couldn't make out what it was saying. But there was definitely another voice there that wasn't any of us. It's
strange, isn't it? We've had that happen on here a few times. You know, we had a woman once saying hello. And we're like, hello? Who's that? Hello? And she's going, hello. But we could work out, again, like yourself, we were looking at each other saying, well, it can't be a TV, it's not a radio. Is it a bit of a bleed over on the stream that we're picking up someone we really wasn't sure, but we've had some real weird stuff happen on here. Child's voice and had a face come in the door behind me here, poked his head round and disappeared. But I looked and I thought, who's that? Jen's not here. And like, what? Because this often, like here, like probably like yours, it goes in fits and spurts here. We have bangs, knocks, taps, all sorts of funny things happen. Like Julia's and probably Angela's place, you know. With Angela's, I remember when the late Darren was alive, he was doing a bit of a late night podcast, and one of the books flew off the shelf behind him.
I saw that. I was on that one. Yeah.
Oh, was you? Yeah.
I was on, yeah. And I think he did it again. I think I was talking to him a little while later, another day, another week, and the same thing happened. I think it happened twice, if my memory serves me right. You all right, Sindel? How you doing?
Hi, Sindel. Sindel is another one of our paranormal friends. She has it's called PIT, Paranormal
guys.
Investigation Team. This is Sindel. So this is Tommy's Let's Get Freaky podcast. So
Nice to meet you,
subscribe to
Sindel.
it. You'll enjoy it. It's really good. Some real good
Thank you.
speakers on there. So get everybody's watching this. Link on, get on there, support him, whatever. Just get on there and listen to him. There's some great stuff there. You all right, Sindel? Does she want to say what stuff? I think she's frozen. Frozen in time. So, going on from the paranormal, what led you in towards the cryptids then? So, ending up going to the cryptid conference with Daniel. What sort of led you into the cryptids?
Well, I've always been fascinated with like Bigfoot and stuff. And I remember when I was really young, I had a Guinness Book of Records book. Do you remember that book?
Yeah.
I remember.
No, we're not that old.
I remember flicking through that and getting to the Patterson-Gimlin film. And it was obviously only pictures, but it was like I was like, whoa, what's this? And I remember looking at it and showing my mum and being like, is this real? And she was like, yeah. And I was like, what? So to me, it's always been real, and I personally believe that the Patterson-Gimlin video is real. I know it can be quite controversial, but I tend to believe that that's real. And so from there, really, it started. And I actually started listening to like Bigfoot podcasts before paranormal podcasts. So I'd listen to like Sasquatch Chronicles and stuff like that. And I think once you start looking into the subject of cryptids, like when you talk to someone that's not interested in this kind of stuff and you tell them about Bigfoot, they're like, come on, man, But when you start looking into it, and like so many people see these things, there's a lot of evidence to support it.
Am I the only one that's like breaking up and like losing signal?
Yeah, you keep freezing for some reason.
Can I just add a little bit about the Guinness Book of Records? In my back garden, I did have a fig tree, and one year it grew just one massive fig, and no other figs, just one massive fig. And I went to put that into Guinness Book of Records, and they said, "Okay, we're going to do it by the size." And I said, "It's big. Honestly, it's huge." So anyway, they were taking their time, and it was like end of the season, that type thing, and it was starting to turn. It was sort of like the wasps were like trying to eat it, that sort of thing. So I thought, I'm just going to take it off the tree because and preserve it, and I put it in the freezer. And then they decided that they weren't going to do it by the size of it; they were going to do it by the weight. And I'm like, well, yeah, it's really heavy now because it's frozen solid, and it's really heavy. And I thought, my only chance to, something interesting's happened to me. I can put it in the Guinness Book of Records, and it's well scuppered, that one. So I didn't get in there, but that was my attempt. Not very interesting, not ghostly related, but
you'd always get them or a soccer book at Christmas, wouldn't you, from your parents?
Yeah,
the Guinness Book of Records or a book on football or something. It was always the same, wasn't it?
Yeah, or Beano album or something like that.
Yeah. Sindel, Tommy, is also a modern day witch.
Oh wow! Okay.
White witch, and she's third generation as well. So
wow,
really interesting. She was on here a few weeks ago. Really nervous, but what great.
You're all breaking.
Oh no.
No, lost you again, Sindel.
Technology.
Right. So all through that broadcast, when you explained that, that was crazy. That like glitched completely, like for me.
Maybe they didn't want us to say it. And Dora's put, I never used to be in the subject of Bigfoot, and Dora's Polish, so you have to excuse. I never used to be in the subjects of Bigfoot and stuff like that. But more I listen to it, the more about it, it makes me believe in more and more.
Mm-hmm.
So, what led you to go? Sorry, go on,
I was going to say, so like in Polish, like.
No, we lost you again.
Why didn't she put it on the chat?
Message it,
Like,
Sindel. Put it in the message.
Are you
You,
connected to your
Fork.
home's Wi-Fi?
can you hear me?
yeah, we keep losing you.
Yeah.
Yes, you can. So in folklore, in that, it's more of to do with like the Sasquatch kind of style with the
Right.
Bigfoot, where it would be more out in the mountains, far away, where you'd use cameras and you could see them, and or even to your own eyes. To your own eyes, you can look and you can, in a mountain top how big a human figure should be. And
Yeah.
then when you see it so big, and then it is just like it's
No.
stomping to the point
Oh dear.
of it's doing maybe a 6.
No. Keep freezing, Sindel. Disconnect and reconnect
Like
again.
that is
See
so
if we
weird.
can-
Yeah, exactly. That is
Yeah.
so weird because I'm talking about like the Bigfoot. Yeah, I'll try.
Okay. So, Tommy, what led you to go to the Cryptid conference then?
Andy Dakota was a big reason.
All right, big Andy.
I interviewed Daniel Lee Barnett about a month before it, and he invited me to it, and I was like, I've got to get to that because it wasn't too far from me. It was about 2.5 hours away from me, I think. Or it might not be that far actually. It was in Somerset, wasn't it? And it was. I loved being around so many people that all were there for Bigfoot. It was so cool to be with like so many like-minded people. So as I say, you talk to your pals at work about this stuff, and they're like, "Really?" And I'm like, "Yes, look into it, man. They're real." But it was so cool to be around people that are all there. Some people had experiences, and I think we need more of that in the UK. To be honest, there's a lot in the US. There seems to be one every day in the US.
Yeah.
But in the UK, we do have them, but we need more. I think we need to make one.
Yeah, that's what we need, isn't it? You know, it's all to do with the supernatural, so it's all under one umbrella, really, isn't it? With the cryptids and paranormal and UFOs and good old Andy Dakota with his UFOs and he's got some interesting stories. And what led you into the UFOs? Was it talking to Andy, or you'd had an interest prior to that?
Yeah, well, I've seen things in the sky that I can't explain. So I've had my own UFO experiences. So this is going to sound wild, but when I was 14, in the new house that I was in, me and my brother and a few pals were playing football in the street, which we used to do most days, to be honest. And it was a summer's day, beautiful, clear blue sky. And we're all just playing football in the street. And one of us, I can't remember who it was, but one of us was like, "What is that in the sky?" And we've all stopped and looked up. And there was just this. The only way I can describe it was like, it looked like, say you took like a building from Dubai, right? You know, like them futuristic looking buildings.
Yeah.
Picked it up, just popped it really high up in the sky, and it was just there floating. Now I don't know what this was. We was watching it for like 10 minutes, whatever it was. It didn't move, you know, it didn't spin. It was just still in the sky, and it was like orange and silver. It was like orange and silver, like the main two colors of it, and it was just this weird shape. And we're like, what? We're watching this, like trying to work out what it was. Is it a plane? You know, is it a blimp? You know, is it like, you know, you get like the balloons that are just like advertising in the sky. It wasn't anything like that. We've gone through all the things. And what really bugs me is we're watching this thing in the sky. It didn't fly off. It didn't disappear or anything. We just started playing football again. And it really bugs me to this day that we didn't watch it, because I'd watched that for years now to try and work out what it was.
Yeah.
And we just started playing football again. And what is really weird is so my brother saw this as well, and my friends, whoever we was with at the time, saw this as well. But we kind of started playing football, and then that was it. I don't remember if we spoke about it after. The memory wasn't gone, but it was like me and my brother never talked about it, which is quite strange. And then when I started Let's Get Freaky podcast, I kind of wrote down all the weird stuff that I'd experienced. And I didn't even think of this. This didn't even come to my mind. And I find that quite strange because it was quite a big thing to see. And I was talking to, do you know Kat Ward from Paranormal Heart? I was talking to Kat Ward, and she's great. It's the first time I'd ever been on a podcast. And I'm talking to her about my experiences. And we got onto the subject of UFOs. And this memory came back to me. And I was like, I'm going to tell her. So I told her what I experienced that day. And then the episode went out a couple of days later. And my brother rung me up. And he said, bruv, what was that thing we saw that day? And why have we never talked about it? And bearing in mind, my brother's the skeptical one. So he's like the one that's like, I don't know. But and I was so glad that he rung me up and said that. Because not that I felt like I was making it up or anything, but it was like, why have I not remembered this incredible thing that I saw? And like, where's this memory come from, basically? And I was so happy that obviously I remember it now. Like, I remember it very clearly.
Yeah.
But it was like, it wasn't gone. The memory wasn't gone, but it was just like, I can't even explain it. It was just very strange because it was such a weird thing to see. But I was so happy. Do
you think you were meant to not remember it until some time later in your life where you could understand it?
Maybe, yeah. I mean, I was, as I said, like at that age, I was still very interested in like paranormal stuff. So that would have excited me seeing something like that. But it was just very strange how I've not remembered it. Not remembered it. The memory was there, but it was just very weird. I don't know.
One of our other investigators, Gemma. Hi, Gemma. Hi, it's Gemma. I do believe there are UFOs for sure. Apparently, I've been following the news, and they reckon there's more going to be a big thing soon. So, what's your take on that? Is it because we got phone cameras and we're roaming reporters now, aren't we, from anywhere in the world? Do you think that's why we're noticing them more now?
Yeah, very possible. It's very hard though when you see something in the sky that you can't explain. Like, often, I think if you look up quite a lot, you're going to see weird things that might be something logical, but you can't. It's not a plane. It's a weird all black thing in the sky. And when you take a picture on your phone, it doesn't really do it justice a lot of the time. Like, a lot of the time, it's just and you send it to your mate, and he'll be like, oh, I think that's a plane. You're like, no, it's not. I was watching it for an hour, and it was moving in weird directions and stuff. But I do think, as this subject opens up, which it does seem to be opening up in the mainstream now as well. You see it on the news now. People talking about UFOs. You've got this UFO that's apparently heading towards us. The guys in Oxford are talking about, professors in Oxford and NASA are saying that there's an object coming towards us that will be here in 2027. Is it a psyop? Is it actually a UFO? Who knows? But this subject seems to be growing and opening up to more people.
Did you read that thing, Reese? I think it was today or yesterday, saying that there's another planet identical to Earth called Terra 9. It's exactly the same, and it's got like buildings that we have got, but like centuries and centuries ago, like it's just been like abandoned.
Wow.
But I think was it today or yesterday? I don't know. I only read stuff off my phone, which is probably not good.
There's a good film if you've ever seen it. It's called Contact with Jodie Foster. Have you seen that, where they pick up a message through space and it tells them how to build a portal, an alien portal, how they can transport into time, and they drop her into you've got to watch it because it's about alien contact, where she's working as a professor in like a Hawaii radio station, where they're sending out messages. Because many years ago, I don't know if you remember it, NASA were asking people to use their dormant computers to send messages into space. So they bounce off everybody's computer in the world and send this message into deep space. And it's very similar to that. They're sending a message out into space to see. And then it's in the film. I know it's a film, but it's called Contact. And then they receive a message back from an alien craft.
Interesting.
And it's about how they work out what it's trying to say and how it's saying it and what does it mean. Why are they contacting us? And as the film goes on, you start to understand. And the more we go into the time now, the more the film's very old. And the more you look at it now, you think, you know what? This could be quite well true. This, how they're sending us a message, but we just don't understand how to decipher the message at this time. But if you ever get a chance, watch it. It's called Contact with Jodie Foster. But it's sorry, mate.
Sorry, I remember watching like documentaries like 10 years ago that used to say like they're going to drip feed information to us slowly, and we're slowly going to start seeing more and more on the mainstream and stuff like that. And I feel like that's happening. I really do feel like we are being drip fed. Like you've got the Tic Tac video, which you know is from the US military and stuff, and they're slowly letting us know that there's something there. There's definitely something out there more. They say, I mean, it's possible that it could be our own technology as well, maybe secretly. But yeah, I do feel like we're being drip fed information.
Graham Bentley, he's put that's what happened at Chilbolton Observatory. Don't know about that one. But the thing is, they can't hide it. Gemma's put, do you think UFO / aliens are dangerous? Is this what I worry about? Do you think they're dangerous?
I think they could be. I mean, I don't know. It's in the paranormal world, as you guys will know, there's like two camps, and often they go at each other, which I don't understand that. But you get like the people that say that they're come in peace or whatever, and then there's people that say that they're like demons. I mean, I don't know what they are, but I do think you have to be kind of careful with like the paranormal and supernatural as well. I think it can be dangerous.
There's a lot of scaremongers out there where I don't know whether it's because they don't quite understand what they're communicating with. But personally, a lot of it I don't believe, and I don't believe that what we do is something to, scare people or or to give them like nightmares for the rest of their life or anything like that. But yes, there's a lot of it I don't believe. But I do think there's people out there that do all this like scaremongering and some of the things that they say that they do, and I'm like, oh, you're joking. But yeah, that's my own interpretation of it.
I feel like if they wanted to destroy us with the technology they seem to have, they probably could if they wanted to. I don't know, but I saw.
I think there's
you
a lot
don't know what
know.
defenses we have, do you?
Exactly. Yeah. Is some of this some of it our technology?
Well, and because we all carry phones and we can able to record and do things now, it's the case that they can't hide it anymore. Many years ago, you'd never have a phone to video something in the sky, would you? Or voice record from, beyond. You'd have the tape reels, wouldn't you? And, that stuff. And it's also like we've had a conversation on here, like white noise on a TV. If you ever sat there, found a channel with white noise, and I've done it, and you can actually hear voices in the in the white noise. So,
is it part of a channel or do you, part of like
frequency, isn't it?
A TV channel or a part of a ghostly contacting you channel?
Yeah. It's very hard. It's like now, isn't it? They can't cover most of this stuff up because you have roving reporters now. Everything's live within minutes on the internet, isn't it? Social media is blown it, isn't it? It's blown their cover, really. So they can't deny it anymore because, like you say, Tommy, that you've had the experience and seen what you've seen. They can't be hide it anymore, can they?
Yeah, I wish I had a phone when I was 14 to get what I saw. That would have been incredible. I did see though. This happened when I was 27 when this happened, and I was with my mother-in-law at the time. So both of us saw this, and we used to have a flat in Brentwood, and we was on the 4th floor. And it was a lovely summer's day. It was a beautiful summer's day. And there was like a little forested area opposite our house. And out of the trees came these 3 objects that were like, they weren't very big. They were like the size of like a football or a basketball. That's that kind of size, 3 of them. And they were kind of floating around each other, but not actually touching. They were like, they seemed to be connected, but they weren't actually touching. And they were constantly changing shape. Constantly, they were never the same shape, and they were always a different shape as well. And me and my mother-in-law are watching this, and we're like, are they balloons? Like, what are they? And we was watching it for a good 10 minutes, and they were just floating up and up and up, and they were just circling around each other, but not actually touching. And they got so high up, and they just went flash, flash, flash. And when we saw the flash, 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 we were like, they were not balloons. You know, they were not.
How
How
far
they
away
shot
were
off,
you? How far
not
away were
far
you
at all.
from
They
them?
were literally across the road, so we was quite close. We could see them pretty close. I was so happy my mother-in-law was there as well to see it. And when we're at family parties now, we're like, do you remember the day we saw that weird? I call it a UFO, but we don't know what it was. And, and the family members are looking at us like, yeah, okay. But we definitely saw that.
Were they quite big then, sort of, or
they were like the size of like a football, like literally like not that big, no, but they were
they're
like,
like glowing or anything, or
they
what colour
weren't
were
like.
they?
Have you seen the film Terminator?
Yeah,
You know when he's melting and his hands melting, and it's like that silvery metallic.
yeah,
It
yeah.
was like that kind of look, like that kind of material, and it was bizarre. There was 3 of them.
Almost
and
like
they-
it's trying to merge in with the background type.
Yeah, possibly.
think?
Yeah, I mean, talking to when I share this experience, some people say like, that sounds like it could be some sort of living entity in the sky. Maybe. I mean, I don't know what it was, but it's not your typical UFO. I don't know what it was, but it was just constantly changing, like like the film Flubber, the green thing. Like kind of like 3 of them just floating around each
It
other.
doesn't sound like ghostly, does it? It doesn't sound like a ghost.
But you know what's really annoying? I had my iPhone in my pocket. I know the cameras weren't as good. So that was 10 years ago. That was over 10 years ago now.
Yeah.
But the cameras weren't as good anyway. But I could have got that.
We do that a lot. We do that a lot when things happen, and then you're like, "Oh, did anyone record that?" And you got like 8 people in the room, and everyone's like, "No." Was anybody recording at the time? No. Okay, so we haven't got any evidence of it. No.
Trouble. It's like Andy's put biochemical. Gemma's put, I have seen something in the sky, weird silver shining shape, and I'm like, is that an aeroplane? And then it disappears and nowhere to be seen again. So we're becoming more and more aware of what's in the night sky, or the day sky now, aren't we? Because like you say, as we're being dripped information, we're starting to get us to look. Also, these UFO sightings always seem to be in the day. Maybe Andy could answer that. What's your opinion? Why in the day and not at night? That's $1 million question, isn't it?
More people about looking up into the sky, because at night you're just like, if you're coming back from the supermarket or something, you just get out your car and go straight in. You don't really look around too much.
Yeah.
I mean, people see things in the sky and they're like, oh, it's a satellite. And it might be, but it might not be, especially when they're moving in a weird fashion. I've had things in the sky, I've seen things in the sky that, just look like a floating light, but they're moving in a weird way. And you're like, what is that? Nothing moves like that we know of.
Yeah. Well, yeah, not that we know of anyway. Andy's put, most of mine have been during the day. Andy, what do you think? Why most of the day? Why in the daytime? You're the UFO man. Answer that question. Why are they more prevalent during the day than they are at night? That's putting him on the spot, isn't it? We like to do that.
Those silvery things that I saw, though, like I don't know if I would have seen them if it was night. This was like another quite clear day, so I don't know if they glow. I don't know, but I don't think you would have seen whatever that was.
Strange, isn't it? Anybody got Luke? Have you got any questions for Tommy?
Yeah. Have you ever had experience with like elementals?
Oh, not that I know of. No, I mean you could kind of say maybe what the dog was experiencing in the forest was maybe something like that, because we couldn't see anything. It was more of a feeling, and the fact that the dog was freaking out at seemingly nothing. Maybe that was. I do think, because that's the thing as well with like the cryptids, is are they flesh and blood or are they a supernatural? And I think it could be both. I think they could be. It seems, especially in the UK, that these things are probably more supernatural. I would have thought, but again, we don't know. But so yeah, possibly.
Strange. Yeah, Angie, you got a question for Tommy, or?
I've just got a few more comments to put up.
Oh, there you go.
I did have another weird thing recently as well. saying
Go
about
for it,
elemental.
mate. Go for
This
it.
might not be elemental, but I don't. Again, like I said, I don't know what this was. But so this was quite recent. So this was a few months ago. I just finished doing a podcast, and it was probably 3-4 o'clock in the morning, whatever it was. And I can't go to bed. So once I finish, I can't go straight to bed. I have to have a cup of tea and just like wind down. And then I go to bed about 5 o'clock in the morning, which I know is not good because then the kids are up at 6:30 and it's, you know, not good. But it was so just finished doing a podcast, and it was about 4 o'clock. And I was like, I need to go to bed. I need to go to bed because the kids will be up soon. Then they go to school and then I can go back to sleep. But still, you know, it's still like a broken sleep and it messes you up. So I've gone to bed and I'm wide awake, gone in my room, and my daughters are in bed with my wife. And I was like, oh, the kids are there. I can't, they're going to school soon, so I don't want to wake them up. So I've like set up a little camp on the floor and just laid down in the dark. And I'm just like, if I'm on my own, I'm not in the dark, even to this day. If I'm on my own, I've got a light on or a podcast playing. I can't just lay in the dark, but I am, because the wife and the kids are there, I'm feeling brave. And I'm laying there and I'm just looking out and I'm wide awake. And we've got quite thick curtains as well, so you don't see car lights or anything. And you don't get many cars driving past at that time anyway. But I'm laying there and I saw this like golden light just fly around the room. And I was like, what have I done? And my first thought was, I've just seen a fairy. I'm not saying it was a fairy, but it was just, I was just like, it was like a little, it was like the size of a pen and it was gold and it just sort of flew around the room. And now I'm trying to get better at like debunking things and looking, trying to find if it could be something, you know, not supernatural. So I picked up my phone and I'm trying to recreate a light, and it's not that. And there's nothing. The only thing I think it possibly could be is that I've got an issue with my eye and I've seen something. Other than that, I've no idea what that was. And so I guess you could put that in like elemental, maybe it was something, I don't know. But that was weird. I didn't get a bad vibe or anything, but.
Was you doing anything to do with fairies on your podcast before you went to sleep?
I don't think that episode, but I do talk to people that see these things.
Sure.
And yeah, so it's always there, I guess, in my, I'm always got the paranormal mind on, I guess. So that's why I went straight to fairies, I think, because it was just like, I've just seen a fairy. But I know that sounds wild, but that's just how I felt.
It doesn't sound wild. It doesn't sound wild. Here's $1 million question. So if you were to come on a paranormal investigation, would you go down a tunnel in the dark on your own?
I would for you. I would if we was on an investigation together. I would be so scared, but I would do it. Yeah.
You'd push yourself past that
push
boundary.
myself to do it. Yeah. It'd probably kill me, but I would do it.
I'm sure we could find you a really dark tunnel. Sorry, Julia.
We do them around Tommy's area as well.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
We do them all over South, really.
I'd love to come out with you guys. That'd be amazing.
We do have some experiences. So you wouldn't mind doing a fort in Portsmouth then, down the old tunnels in the dark?
I wouldn't like it, but I would do it. I'd probably scream.
It's when you hear the footsteps, like, you know, coming up behind you. You're like, no, I know no one's there. And you just, your walking gets quite fast.
I think the worst thing in a tunnel is that when you walk all the way around and you start hearing things and you're thinking, which way's out? But you don't know, can't remember which way. Do I walk up the tunnel to get out, or is it down the tunnel to go out? And then you start not panic. You're thinking, is something was to happen? I don't know which way I'm going to run, deeper into the tunnel or further out. And it always sort of niggles at me. I'm thinking, do I know my way back out? If something was to kick off, so I need to know a way out. I'm always comfortable if I've got a way out.
we get a flashlight. We get a flashlight, or
Okay. We'll let you have a miner's lamp with a little candle. How's that? So tell us a bit about your podcast, mate, so all the listeners and viewers and the catch-up viewers can catch up with your podcast. And tell us a bit about your podcasts.
Yeah, so at the moment I normally put 2 a week out, 2 episodes a week. That's the sometimes 3, but it's normally 2. Every Monday, every Thursday, and we you know, just like we're doing tonight, we'll have an open conversation. And it's normally I have a guest on and they share their experiences or their work with the paranormal. And we ghostly encounters, cryptids, UFOs, sometimes a little bit of conspiracy as well, which I think is connected to the paranormal. And yeah, we just get freaky and love meeting guys like you. And that's what's so good about doing the podcast, because you kind of find your tribe. I think, you know, the guys at work are not interested in Bigfoot, but you know, you guys are, and that's what's so cool about this. So I love it.
And what media can they get CD or podcasts on?
So wherever you listen to podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, wherever you listen to podcasts, we're also on YouTube as well. Let's Get Freaky, and I just put the full videos out on YouTube as well. So yeah, wherever you listen to your podcast, we're there.
So there you go. Get on to Let's Get Freaky podcast with Tommy. There's a few people on there that are lots of interesting things. So get yourselves on there and listen to it. We'll have to have a get together, all of us, with Andy as well. All of us get together and have a chinwag with him. He's quite funny. I like him. He's funny. So, any other questions, Angela, for Tommy?
Yeah, Andy's replied to the question about why we see them in the day.
If they want us to see them, then it's easier to see
During the daylight.
Yeah. And night is more difficult to work out the shape, size, and distance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Maybe it's also easier for them to see. If they come down to Earth like during the day, maybe it's also easier for them to see where they're going and what they're doing. Easier to navigate.
Maybe they're always in the dark when they're in space. The daylight's a different thing for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe.
Don't know.
They're attracted to the light. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think with the UFO, I think that every possibility there. So you've got that interdimensional. You've got like, are these things from another planet? Are these things already living here somewhere in our seas? You know, people see, you know, the UFOs flying in and out of our oceans. I think everything's possible, and I think that some of it could be our own tech as well. I think. I'm sure our military have got things that they're not going to tell us about. We might learn in 20 years' time that we had UFOs or whatever.
Yeah.
But there's definitely, I think it could be a combination of all these things. And I think that's why it gets quite tricky with this subject, because we can't really nail it down, because, you know, as I've told you tonight, the things that I've seen are two completely different things that you could put in the UFO category, you know? So I think that's the thing.
Did you know there's a website on the government website that you can go and see where they list all the UFO sightings in Britain?
Oh, really?
If you put uk.gov, what was it? UK UFO sightings, it's something like that, and they list it right from. I went back as far as 1974. And they list the person, the time, and the place, and what the person saw. And it's all listed on a government website. You can actually access it. So it's well worth. I'm sure it's UK UFO sightings UK on the Gov website. And you go back and look at it. It's loads and loads of pages, and it lists all the different things that people have seen, the shapes, and you know, some seen circus, some seen triangle, some seen like tic tac, some seen a round craft. You know, so many different variations of what people see. And the government actually put it on their website for sightings. So if you get a chance, just put in a UFO sighting.gov or it's something like that, and you'll see it. And I think 1974 was the earliest one I found for the UFO sighting. So back there, they wouldn't have been that much of a believer in it anyway, would they? But it lists the time, date, and what the person saw. So it's an interesting subject.
Most people, I would say, don't officially report their sightings. Most people, I would say, don't. I've not. I don't know. I know some people do. There are like MUFON and stuff like that, but most of these sightings people don't share. Really, that's what I love about stuff like this as well, because it is a safe place to share these experiences, you know.
Gemma was on here earlier. Gemma, if you're still on here, what did you see? Did we find out what Gemma saw? Did she say that she saw something I don't know
Said
if
she
she
saw
put it up.
something, but didn't explain it, did she?
No. Yeah, if you're still on here, Gemma, what did you see?
Do you think people
Still on
don't
here.
report their sightings because they think, well, nobody's going to believe me anyway, even if I
Yeah.
did say it?
Yeah, or maybe they just think, maybe people will laugh at them or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
We thought we
Yeah.
saw something. I was only, I was quite young. We're driving back from my nan's, and we saw something in the sky. It was sort of like almost like a silver bullet type shape thing. And in those days, you had like the airships,
Yeah.
which are sort of like cigar shaped with a little basket underneath, which used to drive them. But this wasn't like that. Occasionally you used to see the airships go over. But that was quite strange. And it was making like a humming noise. It was summer. It was about 9 o'clock at night. So, it's still sort of like summer. It's still light and everything. The sun would probably be setting in the night half an hour or so. And you could just see it slowly moving through the air. And it was sort of making this like hummy type noise. My mum got a bit scared. So my dad drove fast and we got home. But it was just really, but you don't say anything about it, do you? Because you just, and the same with ghosts as well, because you think, oh, if I say something, people are just going to think, it's that strange and that, or, people aren't going to believe you. But maybe sort of as the years have gone on with mobile technology and things like that, that people actually are, more, they just post it and see what people say.
Mm-hmm.
Did you hear any noise with the ones you saw, Tommy? Like humming, a buzzing type, anything?
No. With them two experiences, I can't remember hearing any noises. No. And so we was inside for the weird silver shapes. So I don't think there was a window open. There might have been, but we didn't hear any noises. And for the one when I was a kid outside, no, nothing, no noise. It was just floating. Yeah.
I wonder if Gemma's, but it was a shiny silver diamond shape. Although I thought it was a plane, it was just still for like 10 minutes. It was low too, and then just vanished. Maybe it was an orbit.
This wasn't particularly high in the sky. I'd say it was probably, I don't know, it's really hard to say, isn't it? It was above the trees, but I wouldn't say it was like really, really high in the sky. I wouldn't say it was too close to trees either.
I suppose it's difficult to get a depth, isn't it? Of when
but
it
wasn't like, you wouldn't say, oh my God, it's right up there. It was.
Yeah. What's that?
Yeah.
Isn't it? That's good. But any more questions for Tommy?
Yeah. Oh, there's a comment from Dora.
Oh, there you go. Oh my word. Just out of interest, I checked Poland. In Poland, people see or try to find any cryptids. Some people used to see on the end of the 19th century Bigfoot in places called Oranka. In 1998 and 2004, there was a Chakubara seen in the villages. Alien black dogs. Balaski was the famous one, which was used to kill with the eyes by looking at them. You can look it up and read about them at the Crypto Zoo.
Interesting. That's the other thing I find so interesting about Bigfoot and Dogman and things like that, is that they appear in every culture all around the world. Before obviously we're all very connected now. The world is, pretty as one now. We can do stuff like this, but 100 years ago, that how would they have all these same experiences in every country all around the world? So I find that very interesting as well. How they different cultures experience the same stuff happening.
It's like the things they find inside the pyramids, isn't it? Pictures of spaceships and things like that. How would they have ever known what a spaceship looked like thousands and thousands of years ago? So you've got to wonder whether they've been here before. But it'd be interesting to when this one arrives, or if it arrives, wouldn't it? I think it'll answer a lot of questions.
7 miles long, they say it is. I don't know.
That's huge, isn't it?
And apparently it's moving in a strange fashion as well. That's why they think it's not just a meteorite. It's like moving in a weird formation. I don't know, but yeah.
Do we know when it's supposed to come?
2027, they're saying, but you hear that quite a lot, don't you? The years, in 2027, but a lot of people have been saying about the year 2027 for a long time. But then on the conspiracy side, is it like a psyop or something like that? That's the other side of this, I don't know, but
it's difficult, isn't it?
It is.
Any other questions for Tommy?
Yep, still going.
Daniel's put,
Daniel.
how things, Tommy? Long time no see. How things, Angela? I'm not asking how Paul is. I'm still going to let your tyres down, Daniel. I'm currently in the States, but I'll be back and we'll be making fun of you soon, Paul. Do you know what? I know somebody in Customs and Excise stop you coming in. Don't worry. I've got it sorted. You're not coming back. If you come over, don't matter if you come over in a boat, you're not coming back. We're not having you. Me and Daniel will go back a bit.
Yeah, that's awesome. Daniel's a cool dude. I had him on the podcast, as I said before, and awesome dude. I can't believe his age. He's not much older than my daughter. It's amazing.
It's mad, isn't it?
Yeah.
When he first come on, he was 14, wasn't he, Angela?
Yeah.
When he first come on here. And talking about cryptids, he'd not long found the old monkey DNA.
Yeah.
When he came on there, he was on there, wasn't it? And he broadcast it on here first when he'd actually found the old monkey DNA. So really interesting. He's such a lad. He's really. I'm sure he'll go places in the cryptid world.
Absolutely.
Everybody loves him. He's quite fun, isn't he? He's quite funny. But he's a good lad, very knowledgeable on the subject of cryptids and that. So it'd be good to have him back on here one night. So what we need to do is get a round table with all of us on it.
Yeah.
It'd be quite some viewing, wouldn't it, really? All different types of paranormal, supernatural, cryptids, UFOs, and your podcast, freaky podcasts. And you imagine, can't you? Blimey, we'd be there till early hours in the morning, wouldn't we? Chatting about this stuff. Any more questions for Tommy?
There was just a comment. I think that was about what you were talking about just now.
60 kilometers a second. That must be how far it's traveling, is it?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That's a bit fast.
Interesting.
A little bit fast. Be interesting to watch this space, really, won't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
See what happens.
But going back to what you were saying, like people talking about their UFO experiences and their paranormal experiences. Paul, what we said when you was on Let's Get Freaky, it's very rare to meet someone that has not experienced anything supernatural or paranormal. And even when you do meet someone that says, I've never experienced anything, 9 times out of 10 minutes later, they're telling you a wild experience. And you're like, you've seen, So most people have had some sort of experience, I would say.
I think, they say it's very rare to see an apparition, but is it just that we just don't recognize it? We just, we're not open to it. I know I have seen one. And like you say, you've seen yourself, and I imagine that everybody on here has seen something that's, not from this world or whichever way you want to put it. But I think, like you say, everybody in the world has had an experience. You just whether you realise it or not, isn't it?
Even if people are like shut off to it, you'll start talking to them and they'll say, well, actually, my dad or, or so-and-so's friend or, I saw this. And you're like, okay.
What I tell you, what always amazes me with spirit is when we do a human pendulum. Okay, so you have a lot of new people in the circle. It's a circle, human pendulum, Tommy, where you have circle and spirit chooses who wants to communicate. How the person in the middle communicates before the person's asked the question. How spirit reads your mind. You say to anybody got a question, and someone around there may be quite new, and they're thinking, I don't want to sound stupid, so I'm not going to say anything. But they're asking the question in their head, and how spirit, and we've had it often, the spirit are going, yes, no, and you say, well, someone around the circle's got a question. Just say the question, and people going, how people sort of shy away. I don't, and you've got to say, like, there's never a stupid question. Say what you think. And often you see the person in the middle swaying backwards and forward. Think, I know someone's asking a question. Why don't you just say it out loud to everybody else? And I think that's how clever spirit are, that it can actually read our thoughts, whether it's through telepathy or however, I don't know. But I think sometimes they can read what we're thinking.
And
it's like with the dowsing rods, you don't have to say it. You can just think it and they'll move. Same with the human pendulum. It works the same way, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You don't have to ask the question. You could just mentally say it, and it can work like that as well. It's very strange.
It's Simon Riley's put full body apparition could pass through Tesco, and you wouldn't know unless you used to know them from before they died. That's very true. I mean,
because some of them are so solid and human-like that you wouldn't know. You just
how many times have you walked past someone and gone, "Sorry," look back and they're not there?
Yeah.
Everybody's had that experience, haven't they?
And also, like my friend, her husband went in for a heart op, and she was like really, really worried. So she was like sitting like on a bench waiting for her husband in the hospital, waiting for her husband to come out. And this really glamorous woman came and sat next to her and sort of like kept her company and was like talking to her and everything. And then walked back up to the room, the ward, when her husband was put on the ward. She walked back up onto the ward. My friend said, "Oh, can I buy you a coffee?" She said, "Oh, no. I just need to go and see, so-and-so, because, that's who I've come to visit." And I said, that was probably a ghost. And she said, "Well, she looked so beautiful that's why I was talking to her." She said, if it was anybody that, I thought, "Oh, I'm not talking to them," or no, I don't want to talk to you. She said, but she has such a presence about her that I just felt really calm and I was talking to her. But it's weird, isn't it, how these people are just there and then they're just gone. And then you think, well, what did I know about her? You probably didn't know anything about her or anything about that person, but they just like made you feel, at ease in times of need, and then they were gone. But and as Simon said, you could be walking past someone and not even know it's a ghost, unless, I guess, if you looked very, very closely and they were slightly see-through. But I think 9 times out of 10 you probably wouldn't know.
No. And that's the moment you look back and think,
where they gone?
Oh, okay.
Where are they?
Okay. Gemma's put a bit like the bloke at Cogs. He looked so real, smoking a cigarette and no smoke as he was walking alongside 2 other men, and they didn't look like they even knew he was there. So he was walking along. Do you remember this, Julia? What was he walking along with 2 other people?
Well, gosh, this was about. It finished at 2. It's Cogs. It's over. It's a manor. It's the Downton Abbey farm, the farm that they use in Downton Abbey, and it was like it was about 2:15 in the morning. We were just all standing outside, just about to leave. The event had finished. Most people had gone home. There's probably a few of us just standing around, and a couple of ladies. They left a little bit earlier. They sent me this email. They said, "Look, I'm really sorry, but don't mean to like scare you, but I hope you're not, leaving on your own." And I said, no, there's a few of us here. And then she said, "It's just this weird guy like standing by the gate." And then Gemma, like, before Gemma leaves, we're all just standing there, just sort of like finishing up, just having a chat. And all these people, there must have been about 20 people walking up the road. They're all wearing, I know street lights are orange, but it all looked like they're wearing like brownie type clothes. Didn't really look like they'd come out of a party. It was like 2:20 in the morning. They weren't rowdy. They were just walking up the road like they're just, I don't know, come back from somewhere. And you're like, well, from where? There's nowhere around here really. And they just sort of like walked up the road and like just outside the gate, some went up one way, some went the other way. And you're like, oh, okay, well, you heard muttering, but you couldn't really hear, if they were coming out of a party or coming back from like a day trip or something, they'd be a bit excitable or a bit rowdy. But it's just like, it was weird. The whole thing was just weird. And, we sort of like drove off. Gemma had parked the car around the corner. So she had to like walk out the gates and walk round. And we spoke about it like the next day, and there was this bloke just standing there, and Gemma said that she walked past him, and he's sort of like looking at at her, but the other two men didn't seem like they were with this guy. He had like wellies and he was smoking and that sort of thing, but they couldn't smell any smoke. We couldn't smell any smoke. But it was just, the whole thing was just weird. We're going back 1st of November this year. But it's like, this was like 2:20. What is a man and two other men doing at 2:20 in the middle, just standing outside? And Gemma said we kept on like looking over to the building. Well, when Gemma walked past, why didn't you say, "Oh, what's going on in there then tonight?"
Yeah.
But this was 2:20. It was, the middle of the night. There was nobody around. There wasn't a car or anything. Where did all these people come from? Where were they going? The whole thing was just strange, very strange. I don't really know what to make of it. But yeah,
That's what I
Gemma
mean.
said she just felt really uneasy.
To be that lifelike, can't they? That you don't realise what you're actually looking at. The one I saw was completely lifelike when I saw him, and he was standing next to me. It was only when I realised he'd come from the behind the door to be in the corridor that I realised this is not a real person, because he's come from there to here. So any other questions for Tommy, Angela?
Dora's written another essay.
Oh my word. So last one then. Since we had our front door camera, I used to check every morning and what was recorded at night, and saw a few times like a light shooting from behind my neighbour's house opposite. That was after we saw two silver ball-shaped objects flying on the front of our house in the sky. Very sunny, good vision day. They wasn't even that fast, but moving exactly in the same way. Not long after that, cameras stopped recording at night. Even the battery full. Must be government control. Can't see any other explanation, because they live down in Portsmouth. Tommy.
Okay.
So they're all around Angela. Julia's in Bayster. I'm in Surrey. Angela's in Portsmouth, and Luke's in Farnham, like Farnborough, that way. So we're all sort of spread over a little bit. So
I'm in
you're in Poole.
Yeah,
are you?
Yeah.
I have a caravan in Wool. Do you know Wool?
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah.
There.
Oh, awesome,
I have a caravan. Yeah, I have a caravan there. Yeah.
Nice.
So, not far from you there, mate.
Yeah.
We'll be down there in a few weeks.
Oh, I'll come see you, mate. If you don't mind.
No, well, it's not freaky then. Some bloke turning up on your doorstep. Make sure you're not 3 times, though. Anyway, so that's it for tonight. Angela, yeah? Julia, any questions?
All's good.
Luke, you anything to ask Tommy while he's here? Hello?
Cool.
Calling Luke.
I didn't hear you. Didn't hear you probably then.
Was you fell asleep? Was you asleep?
No, I was awake. I thought you. I didn't hear you.
Do you have any questions? Do you have any questions for Tommy?
So, would you investigate like 3 locations, like open, like ruins and stuff?
Oh, I'd love to. Yeah, I'd love to. Again, I'd be very scared, but I would still do it. I would still do it.
Yeah.
There's no place I wouldn't go to.
Well, Porth Castle's supposed to be very haunted, isn't it?
Yes, yeah, it is. Yeah, that's just 15 minutes down the road.
Yeah.
The woman in white is seen there. There's a few apparitions they see there. Yeah.
Yeah, interesting place.
I had a guest on. Mark Anthony White came on the podcast, and he camped just outside Corfe Castle, and he actually saw a knight in his tent. He woke up during the night, and he saw like the shape of a knight standing in his tent.
Oh wow!
Yeah, man. Yeah, so that's a very spooky place.
That sounds like a place, then, doesn't it? So, if we have no more questions for Tommy, so a big thank you, Tommy, for coming on tonight and been so interested. Thanks, Andy. Thanks for tuning in and watching. We'll have to get all of us on one night, or not, either yours or ours or whatever. But Tommy, thank you so much for taking time out to come on here, and
pleasure.
Been really interested in your story. So
I'd love to come back. I'll come back anytime.
Yeah, definitely. We'll have you back. We'll have a round table and get people bounce questions in. So just stay on after, mate. So we just finish off after. So it only remains for me to say a very, very big thank you to Tommy once again for coming in tonight, taking the time out to chat with us. So get on to Let's Get Freaky podcast. Listen to the guests. Some great, great guests there. Really, really interesting. So well done, mate. Everybody loves it. I do. I watch it all the time. Every time it's on, I'm there at work in the noisy workshop listening to it. I love it. I love it. I love hearing everybody's experience. So keep going with the great work, mate.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So thank you for tuning in, everybody. Andy and everybody else. From Daniel, well, hopefully you won't be back in the country soon, so we make sure you won't let you in, so you can stay in Florida. The crocodile hunter. So it only remains me to say a great big thank you, Luke, Angela, Julia, myself, Jenny, and once again, thanks, Tommy, for coming in. So good night. Stay safe, everybody. Have a straight, safe week, and we'll see you next Monday. Thank you. Bye.
Night, everyone.